Welcome everybody to episode 223 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson, reunited after I was taken ill and missed all of Collect Fest last week. Yay!
What up? How are you feeling?
I've recovered. It took me about half a week. I was pretty crook. Started to feel human again on Wednesday. So
yeah. I think digitally I've caught whatever you had.
Yeah, I sent, it was a compressed zip file that I sent
That's
through.
Right.
So if you've opened that, sorry if you're at the beginning of that bug.
Fuck.
The next week's going to be painful.
Honestly, after Collect Fest, I was like, there's no way I'm walking away from however many thousand people is compressed into that sardine can and not getting sick.
Yeah.
And obviously I've picked up something else along the way.
I was going to go and be the super spreader at Collect Fest, but I wasn't able to get out of bed.
I'm not saying I'm glad you didn't come, but I'm glad you weren't the super spreader, because that would have been not fantastic for our brand.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
No. Anyway, welcome back. Last week I did pod by myself, and actually it just feels like a long time since we've sat down and done a show together, even though it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you're back, mate. So welcome.
It's good to be back. Good to be good. Yeah, there's plenty to talk about. I think
heaps to talk about. This week is just going to be super chill. It's just going to be basically trades, free agent signings. We're going to do a little bit of Summer League. We're going to do some NBA player-related news. So Malik Beasley's been identified as someone who was potentially manipulating lines. There's a whole lot of content online about that, which is pretty funny to watch. Terry Rozier, we've got some news about him. Yeah. So I think let's just get to it. We've got a lot to get through. There's no way we're going to get through
lots
the whole
of
sheet
wheeling
today,
and dealing.
Lots
of wheeling and dealing amongst the league, and I think we've got some question marks over some of it.
It's a fun time of the year, though. Honestly, I love this.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And then we've got the draft. So post draft, we've got summer league. It's all happening.
The NBA have got it worked out now. Like it just goes playoffs, finals, free agent signings and trades, NBA draft, and then summer league. So. We've got the Spurs and the Mavericks from today.
Okay.
Cooper Flag versus Dylan Harper. That's the other way to headline that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Cooper.
He played Bronny James the other day.
I didn't mind that footage I saw of Bronny James trying to D him up.
Yeah.
It was good competition.
Look, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun, really.
Cooper with 31 points and 4 rebounds. That kid, he shouldn't be in Summer League.
It's fair, but he was 31 points out of a total of 69.
I think for me, Summer League is for people that are trying to win a roster spot, or maybe someone that's coming into the league a little bit undercooked and they need NBA repetitions. It's pretty obvious to me that this guy's maybe an all-star in his first year.
So not someone that's just won an NBA championship, maybe?
I mean, so you're referring to the Thunder and some of their young kids. Look, if they're outside of the rotation, trying to break into, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, Jalen Williams and Chet should be resting for the next 2 months.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even expect SGA to turn up to training camp in shape. I think that's totally fine. All right, so card-related news. We're going to talk about the Cooper Flag Tops Now card that came out. This is old and this is done, but I think we should talk about it. And this is, again, something that hopefully we're going to be seeing a lot more of from Tops. I really like these. I don't know why Panini didn't do this. It's such an obvious play here. Basically, how it works, you go into a lottery.
Yeah.
You buy the cards. My understanding was, I think they've changed it a little bit. Before, they used to do it on demand. So no matter how many people went in the allotted time, everybody could get allocation. And then they printed the number of cards to that, and then they ran the parallels out. But now it seems to me like the print run is set at 123,650. Very strange number, but I'm sure
I think there's a
some mass behind it.
So there's a pre-sale, or they open the window, and however many they sell up until point X, that's the print run. At that point, they decide how many parallels will be printed and announce all the parallels. Because if they say they only sold 50,000 in that run, I think the parallels would be less. And that just based on, because I've got the image up now.
Yeah.
And it's got the print run closed. Yeah, 123650. but that was available for a very limited time in that window.
The time is definitely limited, but I think, like, for this one in particular, it actually sold out before the time ended. Whereas other ones, what they did was it was just, say, for like 2 days.
Really?
And then it didn't, like, they could have sold, like, hypothetically, a million
it's that's the cap kind of thing, or there is a...
Look, I'm got to be honest with you, I don't mind it's capped at 123,000. Like, to me, that's still, they're making a heap of money off it. Otherwise, like, I mean, they're, like, worthless anyway, but at the same time, I suppose if you're going to go into a $5 or a $10 raffle, it's not the worst way to go into one, is it? Like, through sports cards.
I'm just doing the math on the print run, right? You got a number to 25 on card auto, number to 10 on card auto. Number 2 of 10 is the inscribed one with my first auto. So what's that? So we've got 25, 35, 40, 41. 41 cards out of 123,000. Then you've got another 99 plus 75. Wait, I'll get my calculator out here. This is getting...
We need John O'Michaels to do the maths for
us
in real time.
25 plus 10 plus 5 plus the 1. That's the 41. Then you've got plus 99 plus 75, which is the blue foil, plus the number to 50, which is the gold foil. Then you've got the number to 25, which is orange, number to 10, which is the black, 5, and then 1 foil refractor. So 305 different parallels.
I mean, look, when you say it like that, the odds aren't fantastic, are they? But at the same time, for $10, I've got no problem with this at all. I think it's fine.
So there's 123,345 cards that are just plain, and then 306 that are just crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway.
It's still like you hit the lottery if you win one of those, right?
The actual lottery. You like the Mavericks winning the lottery.
You've got the same percentage chance of hitting it too.
I reckon the Mavs have got better chances than us getting one of those cards.
Yeah, one of the autos, for sure.
All right, talk about winning the lottery. Let's talk about the Miami Heat. This is a very Heat move. They picked up Norman Powell. I think this, for me, so far is my favorite move of the offseason, which is why we're doing it really high up
right at the top of the sheet.
The Clippers, Jazz, and the Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to the Miami, John Collins to the Clippers, and Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 27 Clippers second-round pick to the Jazz. So I think from the Jazz's perspective, they're unloading Collins in his contract, and they also pick up a future asset, which is a very Danny Ainge type thing. Wow. Kevin O'Connor was raving about this trade in terms of the Clippers. So they're saying that this is like a lob threat for Harden to throw to. It gives their front court all these different ways they can play. So now they can play big with Collins at the 4 or small with him at the 5 and give them, injury protection for Zubac, on and on. Look, I personally think that John Collins is washed. I think the other thing to look at too is check out his 3-point shooting numbers. Since he's had that finger injury, his 3-point shooting numbers have just been in the absolute shitter. And I think that was a big part of his game,
Yeah. I tend to agree with what you're saying. Like, the Collins side of it might have these versatility and utility upsides, but Powell's the reason the Clippers actually jumped into some form of relevance last year.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me is that
I think
he was really the glue for that team, because when Kawhi Leonard isn't there, which you can't really depend on him for more than 55 to 60 games. Like, let's be sort of generous and give him, say, 65. But and then also Harden is slowing down every year. I think, he's still a very, very good NBA player.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the other thing to sort of remember too is that Powell would have been an all-star last year. It's just the way that all that injury replacement worked out, and then, LeBron not being there at the end. So, look, I'm really, really high on this. The only thing about it is it's a little bit like picking up Jimmy Butler. Maybe this is a bit unfair to say because he did take them to the finals, but I just don't think you're going to win a championship with Norman Powell. Like, it's a really good pickup, but
I think it's a good pickup, and it's one of many pieces.
Keep doing,
sure.
But I still think they're the best in the business at getting NBA veterans into a
turning
program.
Something into Well, funnily enough,
A+, honestly. All right, so I think if we're talking card value, why don't we check out John Collins? I have not checked out his value for I feel like 5 years. I was definitely dabbling and prospecting in some of his cards, back in the day.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a fun one just to look back on.
Okay.
Can you please predict for me what a silver PSA 10
$40.
for John Collins is selling for? $40?
Yeah, that's my...
Last sale was 23. The sale before that was 35. So you're not too far away, to be honest.
Is that US?
USD.
So I reckon I'd be right if it was converted.
Oh, were you saying Aussie dollars? Were you?
I don't look at like I was. Yeah.
I'm gonna. All right, I'll give it to you. That's fine. Yeah. Look, is this a stay away? Is this a buy? Look, I think at this point of his career, this is a PC only purchase.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not a huge amount of upside here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So moving on, let's just set the table a little bit on this. The Pacers make the finals last year. Halliburton has a horrible, horrible injury in Game 7. The Pacers lowball Miles Turner. He then goes to the Bucks after the Bucks waive and buy out Damian Lillard. So now the Pacers have got no more point guard, no more starting center. They've got to fill this up. So Isaiah Jackson, who's basically been injured most of this year, has been re-signed. 3 years, $21 million. I think this is really interesting because I think he's actually a good player. And in some ways, he does some things on the court that's better than Miles Turner. I think the obvious thing that he can't do is set picks as well and shoot consistently from the perimeter and sort of from the mid-range. I think that's the two things that Miles Turner can do better. But defensively, I really like him. I think his defensive versatility... I need to be really careful the way I say this because Turner's a good defender, but I think that Jackson is a lot more mobile. So I think when you've got him out on the floor, like your rotation's actually like a lot better.
Okay.
So I like that about this guy. So I think for 3 years, $21 million and the potential this guy's your starting 5-man, like that is an absolute home run. So the other thing too is I think if we're being honest here, the Pacers were trying to save some money. And so to do this and not have to overpay him, because like what if he said, or somehow he was like, look, who else are you going to pay to be a starting center? And, now you need to give him 20 million. Do you know what I mean? Like why couldn't he have, done that in some sort of weird way?
That's fair.
So yeah, look, I think I couldn't even imagine this guy is going to be in card ladder.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, so Isaiah Jackson, this is just going from sold listings on Card Ladder. Number to 199, this sold for $2. That's a Prism.
There's no...
A blue Prism.
Yeah.
Look, I think if you're low-end prospecting on someone that is going to be improving and going upwards, his Prism rookie autograph for $5. There's a Zebra. So Zebra is a case hit. That's in Select. That's for $6.85. I think that's veteran by the looks of it.
Okay.
$2 for an orange cracked ice rookie Prism card.
If you're paying that sub $10 for a card, why not? Like, if it's something you're prospecting on, sure.
Because, the funny thing about the Pacers is they're going to be absolutely terrible this year. So I think this year's an absolute write-off. I think my play with the Pacers, like if you're high on the Pacers like I was last year, I think you just spend the next 12 months just prospecting this team.
Yeah, maybe.
Just watching the pieces, like watch how the rotations play out.
There.
Siakam, yeah, I think he's already, like, for me, that's a known quantity, though. Like, I'm talking about, like, Matthew and Ben Shepherd.
Yeah, okay.
Now it's Isaiah Jackson.
Okay.
I think that's who you sort of, spend the next 12 months looking at.
Okay.
And if you're picking up these cards for a couple of bucks, I think that's, totally legit.
Yeah.
I think this is, like, absolute NBA card nerd at its highest peak, though.
Like
we're talking
dollar box.
Isaiah Jackson. Like, we're frothing over Isaiah Jackson. But at the same time, this is kind of fun.
Having a bit of fun. Challenges at card shows, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Pacers also re-signed James Wiseman. Look, I think this guy was the number 2 overall pick back in the day. People spent an absolute boatload of money on this guy. I don't think this is anything to be, like, overly excited about in terms of him recovering his card value.
No, not moving the needle.
But at the same time, it's good news for James Wiseman. I'm glad he's still in the league. Let me put it to you that way. I think that's really, really good.
For sure. For sure.
We're already at the 15-minute mark. Do you want to do one more quick one before we go?
We can do one more. One real quick one.
This is for you. DeAndre Ayton has signed with the Lakers.
Is that a big one, though?
I think he's going to be starting at 5 for you.
Well, I guarantee you'll be starting at the 5 for the
Because
Lakers.
the other guy they've got in their pivot spot is Jackson Hayes, which I really like. But I think defensively he is just not up to the task. My only thing about Ayton is like, he's a good mid-range shooter. He doesn't really have 3-point range. His defensive rebounding is not fantastic.
But he's a good pick and roll big. Like he last time he played he played in the NBA Finals alongside Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Switch out Chris Paul for Luka Doncic or LeBron James.
Yeah.
Like another very cerebral two basketballers. I think this guy will be fine.
Yeah. I think offensively he's going to be fine, and I think on his good nights he's going to be good.
Yeah.
My issue with him is his rebounding. Because, like, what do the Lakers need, in your opinion?
A center. I know they need rebounding.
That defends and, like, maybe can move their feet a little bit and cover for Luka, cover for LeBron. Because let's be honest.
Protect the paint. Yeah. We need a rim protector.
I just feel like that's not really what he's known for and what he's exceptional at. And so, look, I think it's a really good pickup for the situation that they're in.
Yeah. I mean, given what... Because all the centers just disappeared one by one and the Lakers were doing nothing. Yeah. So I think they made their decision that this was the body that they were going to get. And look, the fact that they, against the Nuggets, against the Timberwolves, they didn't even get a chance to play the Nuggets. Against the T-Wolves, they got absolutely mauled inside, and Jackson Hayes played 5 minutes of basketball.
Yeah.
So having a nice big body like DeAndre Ayton against that caliber of center is going to be good. It also
I think it's going to
changes their options.
Good for 24 minutes, but then what are you going to do with the other 24? Like, that's sort of where I'm at.
You got Jackson Hayes rim running. Like, I think that'll be the... Yeah.
Give him 10 minutes. I think still 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez would have been good for you guys, but he signed with the Clippers for 2 years, 18.
Yeah. He's already been a Laker once. He probably didn't want to go back. It's one of those. Yeah. Seen a lot of people go to the Clippers after short periods with the Lakers.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's go to a break. Thank you to fastbreaktradingcards.com. I think last week I frothed over them at a pretty high level. I was absolutely impressed at what they did at the Collect Fest and representing Tops. That was just fantastic. So lads, again, congrats. Go to fastbreaktradingcards.com. There you will find sports trading cards, Tops, basketball, football, baseball, soccer, Formula 1, tennis, UFC, WWE. Location, 75 Tulip Street in Cheltenham, Friday 12 till 6, Saturday 9 till 5, Sunday 10 till 4. You can give them a call. You can hit them on Instagram or Facebook. The guys are very, very helpful. They'll answer all of your questions about your collection. I got those two words mixed up then, but no one would have noticed that. Fanatics, authentic memorabilia, TCG Entertainment, Disney Lorcana, Pokemon, One Piece, Star Wars, and no stabbings in the car park in Cheltenham. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on.
Well, to give them a bit of a shout out as well, I went into the store the other day and the boys, top notch as always. Yeah. But it's the grassroots stuff to me. It's the
100%.
It's the kids coming in after basketball. They were playing their finals games and kids were celebrating and getting packs and
they know what's up. They've got a vision in their head of how their shop should look.
Yeah. These John and Alvaro basically taking care of the future of our hobby by nurturing grassroots collecting. Yeah.
Alrighty, we are back, and we are going to continue on with the Lakers selling for $10 billion. Actually, it turns out that's not the whole piece. That's about 75%. We've quickly touched on this already. I just wanted to get your opinion on this. Where are you at with this?
Yeah, look, I think it was time with the Lakers. I'm excited. I think it's going to usher a new era of sort of front office spending in my eyes.
Does that give you confidence, or are you a bit apprehensive about it? Because
Genie's still staying around, and I like Genie Bus being a part of things through the transition. But seeing what our owner has done with The other Los Angeles team, obviously, most recently, it's the Dodgers, isn't it? He's acquired most recently. Was it the Dodgers or the Rams? But he's done the Los Angeles teams. He's just spent money, and we now have. We're in the spotlight. It's where we want to be. We want to be making moves and contending for championships, because that's what the Lakers brand is, and that's probably why it sold for double figures in the billions, which is a lot of money.
Yeah, I think my thought about Jerry Buss passing was obviously like RIP, but basketball wise is how much was that going to impact relationship building within the league? But like what we have seen is that hasn't made any difference at all.
No,
like Luka coming for nothing is like Shaq going to the Lakers for nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like that whole thing.
I think Jeannie learned a lot from her dad, and I think she's probably the key to the organization as far as the Buss family goes.
Interesting.
And she maintained, I suppose, the spirit of what Dr. Buss envisaged with the future of the Lakers, and I think she's passing that on to, for a lot of money, of course, but into good hands with the same view.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that you're optimistic about it, because I think that will be like the thing that would be on my mind if I was a Lakers fan. It's like things are going very, very well, like, and they've clearly got a recipe that works. Like, is selling the team on?
Yeah, a bit
going to
like
affect that.
I think there's sort of becomes a time where you go, is there more I could do, or is someone else capable of doing more?
Yeah,
and I mean, it's a lot of money to pass up. Obviously, there's more than just Jeannie in the family.
I know 10 billion's a lot, but at the same time, is that actually not enough for them?
Well, it gives the Buss kids their pocket money, and then they can stop meddling in the team.
But if like lower teams are selling for 3 billion, like, you know, actually, anyway.
But if the Lakers are selling for more than 10 billion, 10 billion's just what
that is true.
The
That's
majority shareholding is. Yeah.
Correct.
So yeah. I don't know. Look, it'll be interesting to see moving forward what the going rate for a franchise is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me that the Lakers went for this much, and it doesn't surprise me that the move's been made. I think there may have been a feeling family wise from the Buss family that things were a bit stuck. So maybe this is a way forward.
I wonder what she does next. I'd like to see what her next thing will be after that. All right, that story was for you. This story is for me. This is from Bobby Marks on X. Herb Jones extension. My boy, Herb Jones, is going to be staying in the Big Easy. 25-26 at 13.9 million a year. 26-27 at 14.9. 27-28, 20 million. 28-29, 22.5. And 29-30, 24.2. I think that this is really just, frankly, an excellent contract. I think this is very tradable.
Yeah.
Especially as we go into the new CBA. And I think also, too, he's going to be a very desired NBA player after we've just seen what the OKC Thunder have done with 3-and-D players. And I think that's what excites me like the most about this kid. And so I think what we probably should do is just have a really quick look at his values on Card Ladder. And then we should just really quickly look at the New Orleans roster, because they've basically reshaped their entire roster now. And I was very critical.
When you said reshaped, I said blew it up. But anyway.
I mean, they haven't bottomed it out. That's the other thing too. I think they're trying to win.
Yeah. I don't know. The West is so competitive.
Insanely competitive, though. I
don't think tweaking here and there is going to get you there. To be fair, though, and there are two teams in this window. At some point with the expansion, New Orleans could be in the sweepstakes to be moved east.
Yeah.
Same as Memphis. So that would look better, because in the Eastern Conference, the Pelicans probably be a top 4 team.
So he's not on Card Ladder, so obviously he's still a fringe player. But I'm just looking at my own eBay history now. I don't even need to actually do research on this. a silver raw for $2.09.
Yeah.
A Spectra RPA number to 35 for US 44. I probably overpaid on that. A silver prism autograph for $12.76.
Okay.
I'm very middling on that, whether that's good or not.
Mm-hmm.
A select rookie autograph for 15. Yeah, I overpaid on that. And then a red, white, and blue for $5 Aussie.
That's fair.
That I think that might have even been posted ad, to be honest. I missed out though. See if I can find this. I bought a silver PSA 7 for $5.25. I can't find it. There was a PSA 10 that recently sold and I missed out on that. It
Really?
didn't go for much. It went for like 30 or 40 bucks. It wasn't really much at all. So he's sort of trading in that John Collins range. Do you want Herb Jones or John Collins at this point?
Yeah. But this isn't the high end prospecting.
No, absolutely not. But I think also too, I've sort of been liking this kid for a couple of years.
You very much have, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and now I'm looking at this roster now, and I'm like, I kind of see what they're doing. They've gotten rid of a couple of the old guys. They've gotten rid of Ingram. CJ McCollum's gone, so that leaves them with Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
Jordan Hawkins, Herb Jones. Kevin Looney's gone there to give them a big guy. Yves Messi, Trey Murphy. I think you need to look for a big year for him this year.
Yep.
DeJounte Murray's going to be back later in the year. Jordan Poole is going to be there. I think that's going to mess me up a little bit, but that's okay. And then, of course, Big Z. So, it's really funny. So, actually, it's a very young roster. The oldest person on that roster, I don't even need to really look it up, do I? It's going to be...
Looney, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be Looney by like a long shot. Looney's only 29. I thought that guy was like 45.
I thought he was in his early 30s at least, yeah.
Yeah, he's not. Alfred Payton's 31.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a really young roster.
Yeah.
That's actually quite an interesting one. Anyway, let's see how that plays out. All right, this next one I found off X. This is from @BryceSnap, spelled BryceSnapee. And basically, he bought a Penny Hardaway 1998 Fleer Tradition that was serial numbered. I'm using air quotes on this now. 55 out of 100. It went through the authentication program on eBay because it was sold for raw $5,000.
Yep.
Sent it off to PSA, who graded it at an 8, and he was pretty happy with that, just because of how rare these particular cards are.
Yeah.
He was then emailed after the fact to say, look, our senior graders have looked at this and we've decertified it. Initially, their response was, too bad, so sad. Then he went on to X, tagged in all the big boys, including PSA, eBay, and @RHodge, which I think I should start following this guy. Oh, he's the president of PSA.
Yeah.
There you go, rightio. And then it all got sorted out and he got made good. So really good news story at the end of the day. However, I think that they should have processes in place to fix people up without this going public.
Exactly. Without having to go.
Because I think that's the thing. So, and I've heard a few people say this around the traps, is that you pay all this extra money for the PSA guarantee, but then how many people do you know that have received guarantee money back?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a fake promise in that
it's
like
really
your insurance company
that
that doesn't pay out, when you want to go make a claim.
Yeah. When things hit the fan, all of a sudden it's like, oh, what? You want us to pay you? Oh, no. Couldn't possibly do that. Yeah.
They should have, I personally think, if they've graded a card and then after the fact do it, that to me is just like an automatic, like, here's your 5K, we've made a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So, look, I think this is really interesting, and we're going to talk more. We're going to do an episode after today's show about a different type of scam. But I think, how can I say this in a way that's actually constructive? I think there's so many ways to get scammed in this hobby.
Yeah.
And I would say that the collector that bought this card, I don't think he was a deal. I think he was very switched onto this was like a very rare card.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's
I think there's knowledge, which scares me.
and then eBay authentication, and then PSA, and then it's still wrong. Like that's the part where that sort of makes my head
The
a little
fact that
bit
it gets through
confused.
so many layers of this
Correct.
security,
Yeah,
yeah, it's concerning to say the least, and we're very lucky that we've got a good group in the community of people that sort of rally together. And look, to be fair, it may have taken some time, and it almost didn't happen, but at least
there is a process to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I actually I agree with that, Ad, because at the end of the day, there's not. And obviously there is a scam, but there's not a scam per se, is there? Like,
yeah, like it's. I mean, there are just people that are trying to deceive, and it's yeah.
Yeah. All right, this is another one from Boston Card Hunter. We've already referenced this guy on the show. Go onto Instagram, follow this dude. It's just good content.
Yep.
This is a product that's now being sold at Best Buy. I'm sure that all the major carriers are going to start carrying this in America. It's a PSA submission kit. You get 3 submissions on it. You get the penny sleeves. You get the protectors that you need to submit your cards into.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a box, so then you just put your cards into the box and post it off to PSA. It's also got PSA card stands, so when they come back, you put them on display. This is fantastic. It's got all the cleaning equipment that you need. For some reason, it's got elastic bands in there, which to me is like, why do you need elastic bands for your cards? But
how
that's
much
okay.
trauma is associated with putting rubber bands with cards?
I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Yeah, I love this. I think this is really good. I think that this gets it out to outside of the mum's basement and then brings it into like a more mainstream sort of area. Do you know what I mean? Like it's getting it out there. And I think it's little things like this. This is where we're seeing growth in the hobby and more people can then access it.
Yeah.
Do I think this is bad for, say, okay, for example, fast break trading cards? Do I think it's bad for them? Yeah, I do. Like, because then people don't necessarily need to go into a hobby shop and get it in. So, you know, that's the con of this pro. But I think in terms of hobby growth,
if the product's good, I'd almost be like, you can submit with us or you can buy one of these kits.
Yeah.
I'd be offering both. I think the fact that that local hobby stores give you both options would actually be beneficial.
Oh, so you, for example, you're saying like Fast Break would hold the stock.
Sell the stock, yeah. It's like you can wait and it come back to us. We'll send it off for grading for you.
Yeah.
Or here's a submission kit. You can send 5 cards off in your own time.
My only thing with this, it's like you go into a hobby shop with the boys. They look at your cards and say, "Look."
Mm-hmm.
I've heard them say this almost word for word. Look, I'm not a grader. However, I wouldn't recommend you sending this card in for so and so reasons. Then the person can say, "Look, I still want to send it in anyway."
Yeah.
I think where I'm going with this is like, I think people would probably send in cards that maybe shouldn't be sent off.
Yep.
Or maybe they haven't been prepared properly. So where I'm going with this is like they haven't been cleaned properly, or they haven't been buffed by PSA, you know, before they've been sent off. And so,
yeah, fair, very fair.
You know, is this going to be like a whole heap of, you know, junk waxy sort of stuff being sent off? Look, but on the other hand too, like if this is your PC and this is the stuff you want to grade, like who cares about the resale and populations and stuff? You know what I mean? Like if this is your hobby, you get, actually, I'm wrong. It's 4 for $25 a piece grading credits. So that's even more fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just good value.
It is. And I think having more access to the process is it can't be bad for the hobby. Because there are people that don't do it through stores.
Correct.
People want to dabble in it, and this gives them, you can do it at home. You can try grading for yourself.
Definitely.
It probably means we're going to be having a lot more PSA 6s and 7s in the market.
That's it.
So be it. Maybe that makes PSA 10s that much more difficult to get.
Or more valuable. Yeah.
Yep.
Sponsor time. US Sports Cards Australia. Thank you so much for your ongoing pledge. We appreciate all the support that you've given us. Go to ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. There you will find sports breaks, singles for sale, collectible protection, hobby boxes, sports memorabilia, toys. also Ross's pet project, Check Out My Cards Australia, which is a card consignment service. Click on Check Out My Cards submission, complete the form. Right on the form, you can't comp this. You'll get a free card submission given back to you as credit, basically, is how I understand it.
Yep. It's awesome.
Let's have a look at what sports breaks they've got on. I don't know how often Roscoe updates this, but they've got a WWE break. And then let's just really check out his hobby boxes. What has he got for MLB?
What have we got?
He's got 2021 Topps MLB Series 1 hobby packets for $12. 2022 Topps Chrome Baseball Hobby Box for $261. 2021 Chrome Platinum Anniversary Baseball Hobby Light Box for $162. Bowman Chrome 2021 Baseball Light for $230. He's got heaps of stuff on there. I can't read through it all. Actually, he's got lots of baseball.
Lots of baseball, lots of basketball available. Yeah.
Good.
Huge range there.
All right, guys. We'll be right back. And we are back.
We are. You've just gone on mute.
And we are back.
We're back.
We're going to talk about Malik Beasley.
Uh-oh.
Now, you might say, why are we going to talk about this?
I'm putting my sports bet account away. I'm not getting involved.
You might say, what has this got to do with basketball cards? Well, not a lot. This is just because I like talking about conspiracies.
Conspiracies. Allegations.
At this point in time, this is all allegations, but when you start looking at some of the footage that people have put together, it doesn't look fantastic for the guy. So I think if you want to find out more about this, just go onto Instagram and just search for Malik Beasley. There's heaps of videos that will come up. We're just going to go through this at a pretty high level. This is from @thesportsplace. Malik Beasley is in some deep water.
Yes.
Court records reveal a $5.8 million judgment from the South River Capital in 2022, followed by debts in 2025. $26,000 to a barbershop. I have no idea how you rack up that much. $34,000.
Keep that fresh fade.
That's a lot of haircuts, man.
And his crew.
To a dentist? I get that. To a dentist, $35,000, I could imagine that.
Nah. Wow.
Lawsuits also for unpaid rent, and then $7,000 in another suit. That to me doesn't sound like that much money, but like the $5.8 million in total obviously is a really big number. $650,000 for an unpaid marketing advance, and then $2.25 million for a breach of contract. Look, I kind of get why he would then be trying to make money from an alternative source. And it's also unclear if he's in with bookies or he was independently trying to influence the lines and just like betting himself.
Yeah.
There's not a heap of information out there in terms of...
I don't think he's a dependable enough shooter to be able to move the lines.
So one of the videos when the line was like 8.5, he had the ball at the very end of the game. He ran down the court and then quickly scored 2 points to get them over the line. And so what would normally happen in that
you'd
instance...
hold the ball.
Be the professional and let it run out. And so...
Okay.
And you see... So we spoke about this earlier on the pod when it was like the Warriors were on the court and they were talking about the line, and then like one of the guys shot the shot and made it in. So it's like...
Okay. Yeah.
You can't then extrapolate that to say every player on the Warriors is then gambling. Like, I think
for sure. Yeah.
Part of this too is like these guys are just bored and they do stuff to keep themselves entertained. But I think when you're doing stuff like that, when it's so obvious,
in-game stuff. That's yeah, for sure. Yeah,
so I think where I'm a little bit disappointed on this is that he had a fantastic year overall for the Pistons last year.
He did.
And it just leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth when some of the stuff was in the playoffs and you sort of see the footage when he's dropping the ball, and it's like, Did he do that on purpose? Because there was that end of game thing that he had when he had the turnover, and it's like, I don't know, like how far would these guys go? Would they actually throw a playoff game? Anyway, I think ironically it's also come out at a time when he was a free agent when he probably could have got paid
Yeah, I think
a
it's.
significant amount of money. Like he played really well last year. I think that I'm also frustrated about that. I think from a card perspective, I haven't invested into this guy, but at the same time, there was an argument to be made that you should have been buying Malik Beasley last year.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like
he was.
So
he looked all right, and look, it's not saying he won't look all right again. We'll see what happens with the scan. Yeah, if things are investigated and things come of it.
So my understanding of how this is going to play out, he's not being offered a contract.
Really?
So this has definitely affected his income.
Yeah, for sure.
This is going to affect him moving forward. And so I think interesting paradigm here is we can talk about Terry Rozier. So there was a story last year that came out with him, and it's only just now he's been cleared. So if we're going to follow the same timeline on this,
it's going to be a while.
Effectively, that's a season of no salary plus all the reputational damage. And so, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, okay.
Maybe he'll sign on for like a veteran minimum at the end of this season coming up if he's all cleared. But this is not looking fantastic. I think with the footage that came out, the debts that are there,
things are gonna yeah. And things need to be followed due process or whatever it is.
I got to tell you though, Ed, I think this is just like the tip of the iceberg. I don't reckon Terry Rozier, Tim Donahue, Malik Beasley,
they're not the only ones.
Are the only three Muppets betting on NBA games. And so, my strong opinion about this is that regulation or oversight.
Betting only recently really came back into the forefront in America.
Well, so my argument for that is actually it's been happening through illegal channels.
Yeah, fair.
But now that the NBA is actually doing live sports betting and got their own books, they're investing money into looking at egregious bets and looking at players' behavior.
Yeah.
I think that's the win out of all of this. And so, like I was talking about oversight and regulation, like that to me is like where that's at. So
yeah, for sure.
Look, if I got to be honest with you,
dark side of it, but yeah,
it's absolutely the dark side. But I think the referees, I got to wonder with you, all that stuff they do at the end of the games with like they review all the calls in the last 2 minutes and make all that information public.
Yep.
I think 100% that's related to gambling. They've never said that.
Well, it's a good cross check, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the motivation for it is that like that Tim Donahue stuff like publicly went away really quickly. But I wonder if in the background, way more things like happened to try and fix that up. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me completely. Yeah.
All right, I've written in the sheet here that Paulo Banchero re-sings, but actually what that should say is he's re-signed.
He's re-signing. He's not singing.
Up to $287 million. Last week, I was absolutely waxing lyrical about the Magic. I still haven't changed my stance on this.
They're stacked.
Banchero is an absolute buy. Buckle up. This is going to be, I think, a massive year for the Magic.
It's going to be. It's just like last year's eruption of Cade. It's Banchero's turn.
100%.
Agreed.
On the flip side, we've got Nikola Jokic. This came out from the Score, reported that he has informed the Nuggets he won't sign a contract extension this offseason.
Yeah.
Now, I think that if you're a Nuggets fan, the obvious thing is to be like, I'm very worried about this, la, 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 la. However, what you need to remember is every year that you wait until you sign your next extension with the new CBA kicking in,
you get more money.
So we're talking about, SGA having the biggest contract ever in NBA history.
Yeah.
Like Jokic might get another $30 million out of this. And so
I think he ends up with another 80 or something if he waits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, and I see a lot of this, given I go for the Lakers, that as soon as something like this happens, everyone's like, see, Jokic is going to sign with the Lakers. Like, no, he's not.
I think that's the obvious...
He's going to sign an extension.
That's the obvious conspiracy theory. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And that's kind of cool. It's fun to talk about. But I think what we should probably do is just break this down practically. If he can pocket another 30, 40, $50 million, like, you wait 12 months, like,
It's
and then
pretty simple. Yeah.
we can tie this in. Actually, this is perfect time. We can tie this into Chet and Jalen Williams. We can also tie this into Kyrie Irving,
True.
right? So the risk that NBA players take if they don't sign the extension, they get injured and they don't get paid. But we don't see that with stars. Like, the Nets signed KD, paid him max, and then he was injured for that 12 months. Kyrie is going to be out the whole year. The Mavs have just re-upped him.
Yeah. Well, they're keeping him, right? That's the whole thing.
So he declined his player option, and they re-signed him for 3 years, $119 million. Like, there's no genuine real risk. If that's what Kyrie's getting, imagine what Jokic is getting.
His value. If his goal is to get value, to stay loyal to the club and get the most value he can out of the club, that's fine. If he's unhappy with what Denver are doing,
I don't think
then
that's the case.
Yeah.
I really don't think that's
Denver
the case.
have gone and retooled.
Absolutely, we broke that down last week. Yeah,
that will be.
I know you listened to the show.
That will be to keep Jokic happy. Of course, I listened to the show. Bits of it.
All right, really quickly.
Still catching up. I've got the episode with you and GTI, so
you need to listen to that.
I was too sick to listen to anything
listener that has not
week.
listened to that episode with Comron, you guys need to go out and listen.
I need to chat to Comron. Like, no, that he's got to come back. The amount of times you're like, Adam and you would have a great discussion about this and regulation.
Lad, just message him. He'll be on next week. Yeah.
That was good. I liked it.
Anyway. Really quickly, and we'll go for a break. This is OKC reporting here. Chet is re-signed for 5 years, $250 million. Jalen Williams for 5 years, $287. And then, as we reported last week, 4 years, $285 for SGA. Look, I've got no problem with this. I think this is all just a timing thing. I think the Chet contract is the most risky just due to his body, but at the same time, you have to give him his bag. It's as simple as that.
You've got to give them their bag. You're going to do it. And it's literally what we're watching with Boston signing Tatum and White and Brown all at once. They haven't got a choice. They have to do it if they want to keep this lot together. They're going to spend up big. And if one or two of them gets injured and their window closes, that's the risk you take.
That's it. Yeah, 100%. This is from @MarketMovers app. This is a SGA flip. 2019 Panini Prism Choice Nebula 1 of 1, PSA 10, was bought for $8.4 thousand in late March of 2024 and sold for $27.5 thousand in July 2025. Jesus. So nice little flip there. Congratulations to the owner of that card.
Damn right.
That's huge. Thank you to Market Movers for doing some research for us. We're going to go to our last break. We do not have a active sponsor for this slot.
But if you want
GTI will be coming back on shortly. But in the meantime, if anyone is out there looking to do some brand promotion, do some collaboration with our podcast, we're actually actively looking for people to come on board.
That'd be good.
If the fit is good, we would love to work with you.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. I think everyone we've worked with over the years has really aligned with the way we view the hobby.
Yep.
And I think that's been really important to the sponsors we have had.
In saying that, if Backyard Breaks throws us a corporate bag of cash
and some rigged boxes,
we'll probably take it.
And some rigged
let's be honest, Dad.
Yeah. I would like some rigged boxes though.
Yeah.
I don't know, some Cooper Flag 1-of-1s guaranteed or something. I don't know.
That's it.
Yeah. We'll lose our minds on stream. Don't you worry.
That's all right. Shirts off.
We can. Yeah. That's it. We'll run around the room, carry on. Yeah. Done.
Alrighty, we're back, and this is the last segment of this week's show. Thanks everyone for sticking around.
Can't believe we're making it through so quickly. Time flies when you're having fun.
Having fun, exactly. Devin Booker, 2 years, $145 million.
Well, let's be fair, there's no one left in Phoenix to pay, so...
Yeah, so I think they had to do this. This is just, like, for me, of all the contracts that got paid this offseason, this was an absolute no-brainer, because if you lose KD and you lose
Booker,
Beal and you lose Booker,
you don't have a franchise.
And you don't have your picks, or you don't have all of your picks, and you're relying on Grayson Allen Bol, Dylan Brooks.
They've got
Jalen Green.
They're killing everybody shooting guard wise depth in their depth chart.
So they picked up Mark Williams, which we could probably
Rolling that in.
Find the link for that.
Has he passed his physical this time?
Too soon.
Too soon?
Too soon.
It's all right. When he's injured in Phoenix. Actually, no, it's probably a good place to get injured, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they've got good rehab and recovery staff.
Must be, I don't know. Kevin Durant enjoyed it. Bradley Beal enjoyed it. Booker enjoyed their time just being injured frequently.
So the Suns gave up the 29th pick in this year's draft, which turns out to be McNeely and a couple of other bits and pieces, basically for Mark Williams. Yep. Look, my only concern with Mark Williams is like, why are the Hornets so keen to trade this kid? That's the second time they've traded him in 12 months, right?
Yep.
That's my only sort of thing with him. It's like, what's the deal with this guy that they don't want him around? But at the same time,
good question.
You know, if he's a prospect that just needs a new home, like that's fine. Like, let's do it. Look, this Phoenix roster to me, when I'm looking at it, I just don't understand like what the hell they're doing. I think they need to make one or two more trades just to even this roster out a little bit, because at the moment, I just feel like they've got just all shooting guards and small forwards, and that's it.
That's fair.
I think Mark Williams is going to play 48 minutes a game at this point.
Well, it's going to be Mark Williams and Devin Booker and Grayson Allen.
Like, is their starting front court Royce O'Neal and Mark Williams? Is that the plan?
I think so. I actually I don't think they have a plan. I think that's giving them way too much credit.
This is going to be a long year in Phoenix.
It is. Phoenix are going to be one of the worst teams in the league, I think.
All right. I don't even need to question myself whether this is going to be on Card Ladder. Let's look up Devin Booker on Card Ladder.
Devin Booker. I want the ladder. I don't want last sales.
All right. This is actually interesting. Last sold for 600. Population on this is 236.
What's this? His rookie?
Yep. His silver rookie PSA 10. So if we go to all time, dear Jesus, have mercy. This at the peak sold for 7,650. Currently trading at 600. If we sort of just chop out that COVID crazy, he's basically been a flat line. So at his peak in 2018, he sold for 760.
Over the last 2 years, though, he's come down from 1450 to 600 over the last 2 years. So there's just been this gradual toboggan ride down.
Yeah, I think, do you know what I mean, though? If you sort of chop out that huge peak,
that
$600 mark, I think that's actually very reasonable for Book.
And that's from 2024. The start of 2024 is pretty much when he did that. So like the last year. You're right. Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster, but it's in or about that $600 to $700 mark.
Yeah, I think at year 8,
yeah,
you know, he was the starting shooting guard on Team USA. That to me was like an interesting one, and maybe took me by surprise a little bit. But
so end of 2019, start of 2020. Yeah, okay.
You know, has not won a championship, not won an MVP. You know, why are people spending all this money on this guy? That's like where my head was at. Like, was he always a little bit overcooked? But at 600, I'm okay with this. My question to you right now is, do you buy, hold, or sell this? Looking at the Phoenix Suns roster for the next 12 months, for me, this is like a sell.
That's a stay away if you don't have one.
Yeah, or you just look at the market and see where it goes to. Like, if this drops down to $200, $300, you literally drop every bit of cash into it that you have got free.
Really?
At $200, $300.
I'm scared of Booker as an item. I know there are people out there that do collect Devin Booker. I don't know.
Yeah,
who's jumping on? Where does he have to go?
Yeah, but like I think at that point it can only go up from there.
This is like Phoenix could get worse.
Maybe. For me, that's just like Cade Cunningham when he dipped down for no good reason. Like he was just on a bad team.
Fair, but I just think Devin Booker's going to be on a bad team for a while.
Yeah.
So this could go down. I wouldn't be surprised if I see 400 in the next 12
Cade was
months.
down at 220 at one point.
True. Very true.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah. But that's like year 2, 3 of a career.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of Cade, this is from Alt X Official 2021 Flawless Vertical RPA.
Cha-ching.
Just sold for $21,000.
I like
445% increase
I like it.
on the last sale, which was less than 4K.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to represent this as, sell with us because you'll get better deals than on Fanatics Collect.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the case at all. I think this is more about the timing of the purchase and the auction.
Yeah.
And so, I think the real question for me is like, is this a good buy and you hold on to this for the long term? And probably that's where my head is at with Cade. It's like,
Cade, for sure.
I mean, look, if you had got this at 3,000 and held it for the long term, that's like, for me, that's where it's really at. But, if you need money, you need money, don't you? And if you just flipped it out for 21K, that's quite delicious.
That's true. Yeah, yep. That's massive.
Lonzo Ball is being traded to the Cavs. This caught me by surprise a little bit because seemed to me like they've been holding on to him in Chicago now for years, and now he's back healthy and they trade him.
Maybe that's what they were waiting for, though.
Yeah, maybe. The Bulls got back Isaac Okoro. I really like Okoro. I think he's going to fit in really well with the Bulls. It gives them more size. It gives them more defensive versatility. And I think a fit of Okoro and Josh Giddey is much better than Giddey and Lonzo Ball. So,
fair.
Team building wise, that makes a lot more sense for the Bulls.
Okay.
Now, for the Cavaliers, this makes sense because Ty Jerome left the Cavaliers for the Memphis Grizzlies. He got paid, I think, $13 million a year to go there. And the next video we've got here is from @Underdog Fantasy and NBA Recapped Pod. And they do this really good series about the salary caps of each team.
Yeah.
And what they're laying out in this video here, I'll just read it through for you really quickly. It's got the highest paid contracts at the top all the way down to the bottom. So Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter, Jarrett Allen, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro. So obviously this is pre-trade graphics.
Yeah. But
what it shows is Evan Mobley's contract is pushing them over the second apron. And so where I'm going with this is
okay.
They had to let Ty Jerome go, and they needed to fill up that backup point guard position because of their cap situation. So I actually think they've got one more move in this, because just like how Boston shed a whole bunch of salary and saved $250 million, when you drop below the second apron or even the first apron, you're saving, it's not $1.
It's about saving,
It's like $5 per. And so that's how Boston saved $250 million. It wasn't that they shed $250 million of salary. They saved that in the penalties that they were getting paid. So I think for me, like, Cleveland is a relatively small market. Look, maybe they give this team one more year, but I don't see this team as being a true championship contender. And so why would you pay this much money for a team? That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're at with the Cavs, but
I think, but I don't know. I feel like the Cavs are the East version of the Thunder, and they needed to roll it back. So, I don't know. I think blowing it up to an extent, or blowing bits up for the sake of money, might cost them what they've built in Cleveland. To be fair, look, there's still rumors that LeBron's not happy in LA and he's going to demand a trade and want to go back to Cleveland. So, we will take Mobley, happily.
Yeah.
And something else for LeBron James?
I think you could easily build salary and a trade with that roster just because of how many pieces they've got and how much salary they've got to move.
Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen for LeBron James, I would also take very happily.
God, I hate you Lakers sometimes, honestly. Like, if that actually happens, that will just drive me crazy.
Yeah, I know. Most people will get driven crazy if LeBron goes somewhere and it's because he signed a $50 million deal and the Lakers just snaffled up some talent. Anyway.
Cole Anthony was traded, and he's going to be bought out by the
Yes.
Grizzlies. He's going to sign with the Bucks. Not a lot of value and card-related activity with Cole Anthony. He's very sort of like low level. And I think also too, he's not going to have a huge role with the Bucks, but you could maybe speculate on him. That for me is a little bit of a stay away.
Yeah.
All right, this Pokemon stabbing. Let's do this in 2 minutes max. Outside of a GameStop, a fight broke out Saturday morning after a man allegedly cut in line to buy Pokemon cards. The altercation turned physical when the victim was struck in the head with a mason jar and was subsequently stabbed with a shard of glass. As of Saturday afternoon, the victim was in a stable condition. We've heard this before at Targets, and that was one of the reasons why Targets got out of cards and they put it all online because of all the nonsense and harassing the staff and all the rest of it. I think if GameStop are going to be heavily getting into cards...
Don't cut in line or you're getting cut.
They need to do the same thing that...
It's messed up.
All these other big retailers have done. They need to put it all online. Interestingly, I think... So the Australian equivalent of this EB Games, you can go into shops and buy them, but also their pre-orders are all done online. They don't do it queuing up in the shop. And I think that's a really, really sensible way to minimize this type of idiotic behavior that people go to,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think we don't need to talk about that anymore, do we?
No, I just say, look, it's one of those things that does happen in the hobby, and it's like, just try and be safe. Don't mess with people at a shop.
At least they were stabbed with a piece of glass and not a knife. Like, for me, like, the whole... No, like, hear me out on that.
I get like, you on that, yeah.
If you take a knife to a GameStop, you look in for trouble, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, this is America, right? Like, the next we're going to hear about a shooting at a GameStop, so...
Yeah. Alrighty, last card of the day is going to be from our friends at Card Ladder. 1998 Flair. Showcase Tim Duncan. Hashtag 3M Row 1 Legacy Collection Masterpiece 1 of 1 PSA 7. This sold for $32,000. I want to say only $32,000 just for the fact of how rare this card is.
D, yeah.
It's Tim Duncan, but I think you also need to face reality. Not everyone frosts over Tim Duncan the way that I do. Look, I love this a lot. I think that this is a really good long-term piece to put away.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were talking earlier today about that Penny Hardaway Flair card that is ultra rare and, you know, people just sort of... Not people don't know about, but it's a different sort of era of collecting. And I think it's so easy just to look at the Cade Cunningham vertical flawless RPA and go, you know, it's an equivalent card, but are you actually better off putting your cash into a Tim Duncan 1 of 1 than a Cade Cunningham flawless RPA? Like, that's, like, to me, is kind of a bit of a fun conversation.
It's so... I still don't know where the needle is on these cards. Do you know what I mean?
Hall of Famer, ultra rare 1 of 1, or speculating a whole bunch of cash on a vertical RPA.
Guys in year 5 probably has another 10 years in the league.
Yeah.
Cade could go either way. I get it. The big fundamental has had a career and is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Like, in any top 10, top 20 list, this man's appearing. The power forward, if he's not mentioned in the first 5, the people talking about that list have got issues. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is one of the greats, but there's also the recency bias. There's the collector. Where is Cade's ceiling?
Yeah.
Is he on Mount Rushmore? Is he become one of the greatest? That's the joy of this game, I guess, as well.
I feel like the speculating game and the flip game is Cade. Yeah. But I think the better card probably at the end of the day is his card. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. I love this Tim Duncan card. I don't know. I would love to own an RPA. If it was an RPA Tim Duncan versus a Cade, it's a no question.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But there is no RPA for Timmy D.
No. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Thank you to all of our listeners in USA, Canada, UK,
everybody. Well,
Philippines, Australia, New Zealand.
People on the internet, people watching live, the video stream on YouTube.
Central Coast Radio.
Those listening to internet radio on Central Coast Radio,
Yeah.
Those that listen to us on Spotify, that have us saved and followed on Spotify. If you do listen to us on any of the podcast platforms, we would love a review. A
positive review.
Yeah, if you rate us 5 stars, then it just sort of puts it as a suggestion to other people to listen to podcasts of this nature. I mean, I think we've got 3 or 4 of them at the moment. I don't know. I actually haven't checked. I don't know how many there are. I think there were 20 last time I checked, or 15. That's 5 stars. There's probably plenty that are not 5 stars. Let's be fair.
No, I don't think it's that bad. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We'll catch you